Tahoe.com.
This is CBS Sports 1140.
The information discussed on Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money! Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money. More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good morning.
Back in the studio.
Been a long time, huh?
Yeah, been a little bit. I didn't mind having that little studio there up in, I was going to say Homewood, but it wasn't Homewood. It's Meadowwood up in Napa. That was pretty nice.
So now you're back in the throne.
Back in the, yeah. This is about like a throne, too. Just like the one at the house there.
It just doesn't flush.
Right. Just not like the throne you see in Italy and those places where you stand and throne. I want to know how people read the paper in Europe, by the way. I don't get it.
I think
how do you do that? If you got to stand, there's no fun in that. You just got to stand there. Hold the wall. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do this show if I had to live in Europe. To stand there. We are back, Jack, and I got full phone lines open today, and we'll go take your calls, give away some stuff, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. And next Saturday is our last 1 hour show. We're going to bring a real professional financial person in, not these dumbasses like you and me. And so Colin Gray will be in next week for our last 1 hour. Then we go to the 2 hours. What are we going to do for 2 hours?
I have no idea.
Talk slowly.
We're going to do the same stuff for twice as long.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have some things to do. So, but we start every show in the same manner. First of all, it sounds like I'm blowing myself clean out here. Hello, 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 hello. We can start every show in the same manner. I'll play around with my headphones here while the mind from Christopher Laud will entertain us with, I'm sure something has to do with wax on, wax off. What's happening there? It always does. Go ahead, man.
Actually see what shirt I'm wearing. It's kind of funny that you said
that.
Okay. Well, the big story, obviously, around this area is the Kings. Are they going? Are they staying? And people have been asking, how can I show my support? What I can't say that I can afford season tickets. I can't afford that.
You probably can now.
Well, the big game coming up against Utah, February 9th, is a Here We Buy night. Everyone's trying to sell it out, make it loud, make it crazy, like the good old days. Let's go and show everyone in the NBA why Sacramento deserves a team.
And that's February 9th?
February 9th.
Okay.
Utah.
So what I have, it's been uniquely quiet. So are you? You're on the inside of everything. I know you know. I know the.
I'm as inside as you are.
I know the Maloofs call you for advice and things. What are you? What are you hearing as far as any? Do we have a whale or two small salmon that are ready to step up or what?
From everything we heard that the whale was going to come out last week, and from all reports, it's looks like it's going to be this week. Story broke that Ron Burkle is talking about investing in AEG. And AEG is talking about investing in Sacramento. So it's a lot of things that look like are coming into place
at the last minute.
Hopefully.
That's what we do best. We do best right here, last minute. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's Chris Fallad. You can email him directly for his advice on all things regarding your life. He's happy to tell you what's going on. We've got Nick Perjanix back in the studio again. Did your car break down or something? You're here like 3 weeks in a row. What's going on?
No, man.
No?
No. Soccer season's on break.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought soccer was like a year-round sport.
No.
High
school, girls' high school soccer starting, so I get to just sit on the sideline and watch.
Okay.
It's great.
Very good. Johnny's back. No. He's like that French no. No. This is what we learned in France. No, we don't do that. We have a lot of little things to cover today. We're going to give away some Sierra Tahoe ski passes if you'd like to do that.
Snow's coming on Friday.
Is it?
It's coming back.
I don't get it, man. It's you can almost predict when the year takes off, just like a boom time. We had just an incredible start. You think this is just too good. This ain't going to last.
And then it shuts down.
Well, it was the opposite last year. You remember it snowed real heavy there in November, and then it died.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then you got a little bit toward the end, at the end of the season. Yeah. So I'm hoping, keeping our fingers crossed. I mean, there's still a lot of snow up there. But if you're just spoiled like me, you just want all the fresh stuff and nothing else. I ordered that ABS backpack. I need something. I need a small Avalanche so I can try it out.
There you go.
I'm not going to be able to slide down.
My wife just said, "You got life insurance, don't you? Eat it."
That's right.
I'll bury you.
You need an Avalanche, or that's a waste of money.
I know. I need a good crisis here.
We can find some. Search.
Yeah. So rather than spend $700, your wife rather just cash you in.
Absolutely.
I didn't give my wife that choice. I'm sure that would have been an easy answer for her. Sometimes you don't ask a question you don't want an answer to, and that was one of them. I just said, "Look what I got, honey. Oh, I'm going to live another day."
There you go.
Knock on wood. What'll happen is I'll have this big, kidney bing thing stick out the side of my head, and I'll be smashing in the middle of the tree. But at least be able to find me so they can, bury me.
You
properly.
get that RMK 800 all juiced up. You might need that.
All right, I'm not doing the snowmobile thing. I mean, I'd like to. I have to hide it at your house because my wife would find out. And now she may have just found out anyway. So, what we need is more toys and less time, or more time and less toys, or something. But, anywho. Interesting week this week. If you're following along in the bond world and the stock world, and I'm not sure. I was kind of half paying attention yesterday, so I don't know if the rest of you subscribe. I do like a market watch, which is just a service, and you get these emails throughout the day. Apple's not doing well. These guys are doing great. Stocks up, stocks down. But then you see like. So I'm not sure where the market ended up yesterday. Because a bunch of like negative, like okay, it's off again, and at the end of the day, you get ended up highest point in a long
hit
time.
14,000 plus. Didn't I don't think it capped out over the highest point, but then I believe at the end of the day it dropped back. But we did get over 14,000.
So what is propelling the stock market? I mean, I don't hear any really good news. So I'm not sure who it is that's buying all these stocks or why they're propelling them up, but you don't really see anything. You did see, so here's a couple articles that, home price is probably the only reasonable news. And I said home price, not necessarily home sales, because our sales activity is still like at a record low. It's because there isn't anything to buy. But the home prices are coming up because there isn't anything to buy. So you got to start paying a little bit more for somebody else's property. So that's been, a decent sign of what's going on. But beyond that, I don't know what it is that's propelling stock prices to do anything.
I think you're not hearing about Europe right now. You're not hearing about a lot of different things, and people are thinking a little bit positive. But yeah, I agree. You look at consumer confidence, you look at unemployment rates, you look at all those, and
I mean, unemployment was back up again a little bit, and we haven't. I still contend we haven't seen the effect yet of 1113, which is all the new tax rules and all the new tax laws have come in. John mentioned that that Europe seems to be getting their act together. That is helping bonds go down, rates go up. So keep in mind, if people feel like there's another good alternative for them out there, and they can take their investment money and they can move it over to something else, a stock or Europe or anything. They'll pull it out of a U.S. Treasury that's paying basically nothing. A Treasury is where you hide your money when you don't know what to do with it, because you can at least get it back. So you hide your money in Treasuries, which transmits into lower rates for home buyers. But the minute that party's over, people don't want to be stuck holding a Treasury that pays nothing, so they'll immediately try to move their money somewhere else to get higher returns. Duh. And what happens is, and we start to see this, we've seen this almost every day since the beginning of the year, is that rates are just slowly climb, even though the Fed is, people always will tell me, well, the Fed won't let that happen. The Fed won't let that happen. And these are people who call me who are watching rates. Well, the government says they're going to keep them down. Well, the government can only do so much. The government can express an interest in keeping rates low, which just by saying that will help keep them down a little bit. But at the end of the day, the government can only buy so many bonds that are starting to back off on that a little bit. And so the rest of us have to be willing to buy treasuries. And if the rest of us aren't willing to do that, because why buy them if I can make a quarter point with you, but if I go over to Nick's stock and I can make 1.5 points, I'm going to move my money over here. As long as I feel like that this is safe and I'm not going to lose my money, I'll move it over here. So now John's over here selling me bonds saying, okay, look, I'll give you 3/8 of a point. No, okay, I'll give you 0.5 point. So eventually the bonds have to attract people back by higher rates. And we pay those in terms of interest rates. So for those of you that are watching or wondering what's going on, we're starting to see kind of the end of the party for incredibly low rates. And it's almost ridiculous for me to sit here and say, well, rates went from 3.5 to 3 3/4, and we should be crying in our beer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But when you are used to, and in your mind you have set on, I'm going to get 3.5, and then all of a sudden, literally a week later it's 3 3/4, and very likely another week later it could be 4. There's enough difference in there that the refi people say, well, it doesn't make any sense for me anymore. So that market slows down, and the purchase people are a little frustrated because they've been shopping like crazy for a house, and they think in their mind they're going to get 3.5 or 3 1/4 or 3 or 2.8 or whatever they had in their mind, and now it's different. It doesn't translate into a huge difference in payment, but it's a mindset, right? So now you're just PO'd because you're like, I can't find my house, and I'm losing my rate.
Yeah, and that's really the question. As rates went up a quarter, it's like, okay, what change was it to my payment? And sometimes it's $18 or $22. So remember, but that's what we get in our brains is what's the rate, not $18 a month. I mean, it's not really going to kill you. So
so it's but there is a little bit of good news. I mean, you look at the November's strongest sales. This is off the Case-Shiller report. Strongest markets: Phoenix, San Francisco, and Detroit, 22%, 12%, and 11%, and the weakest: New York, Chicago, and Cleveland. All back east. So that has done one other thing that we forget about, or I don't forget about, but many people forget about, is that when home sales start to pick up a little bit. Yeah, see, John's got the same little advertisement there. When home sales pick up, what else happens?
Everything. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah. What else picks up with home sales? Home Depot. Yard supplies. I mean, all of a sudden I got to put in, I want to put in some new plants, and I want to replace the cabinets, and
the contractors get busy.
Yeah, and I contend
landscapers.
And I contend that the car business ends up getting busy because it's funny, but people will start looking around. I got this new house, everything looks so good, and then I'm not parking that piece of crap in the garage anymore. I need to get something new. So you do get into a habit. I think people get into a habit of spending, and then they stop and they get in a habit of saving or peeling back, and so you kind of get all these things going at one time, and it's a multiple effect if you can make it work.
Right. And sometimes it's you haven't spent money for so long, and then there's that little something. You buy something, whether it's a home or something huge, but you buy something and you kind of get that feeling again.
Euphoria.
Hey, it's actually nice to get something new. But I think for a lot of society right now, we're sitting on our heels and just not spending that money. So if somebody is buying a house and it's an opportunity then that they need new drapes, they need new carpet, they need a landscape, they kind of get into that mode again of
Definitely.
spending. So.
And it helps everybody.
Where was your article on? You were talking about Fannie Mae on the since we're on the home topic, I got a couple things there too, but I don't. No, go ahead. I didn't see it, so I don't know what.
So Fannie and Freddie are allowing some borrowers who have been keeping up with their payments to basically need a deed in lieu, walk away, and they're allowing it.
But if you're current under what criteria? Did they go in and say? What do you have to just put a phone call
down? Or
let me read this.
Yeah, you got. Certainly got to be.
Yeah. Non-delinquent borrowers with illness, job changes, or other reasons they need to move will become eligible in March to apply for the so-called deed in lieu transaction that erases the shortfall between the property's value and the size of its mortgage. So it goes on and on.
So you're going to have to show some sort of a need.
Yes.
Either I was job transferred or. I'm unable, not unwilling, but unable to make my payments going forward. There'll be some sort of a need. And so I'm guessing what will happen is that you'll go to your existing. They'll do. So they're saying a deed in lieu, not a short sale.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
They're just saying a deed in lieu. It's pretty interesting, really. But you do have to qualify. You have to show your why. But Fannie Mae and Freddie, they're just drawing so much in losses.
Yeah.
And I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. Why? Because you can do a short sale. It's the same thing. It's going to have the same effect on your credit.
Yeah.
I don't exactly get it all, but that's their new program they're going to come out with.
Yeah, I don't know that makes. I'm not sure what the logic is there. I mean, unless you're in a market where, like we just mentioned, maybe the three that aren't doing so good, so putting on a short sale doesn't get action going.
Well, if they know right then and there that they're getting the home, right? Yeah. They're just sign it over, give us, jingle keys, whatever they call the term. Boom, they get the house, then they can put it back on the market. And if there's an inventory issue, they have to have looked at the numbers and said, look, even if it's a short sale, it's going to take us X amount of time to get the home back. This way, we get it right now. We have people ready to sell it, people ready to buy it. Yeah,
but if you're not a if you're a quasi government entity, so is it easier for me to take John's house, take title to John's house? Now I'm on the hook for maintenance and securing and everything else too. And am I going to get more money by doing that than as just telling John, go to Nick the Realtor, John, get the best offer you can get? And right now in our area, that could be a very good offer. Get the best offer you can get, and if you're $100,000 short, fine, we'll forego the $100,000. But
if you know the house is going to go into foreclosure at some point, because even if they've been on time but they're sick or illness or moving, you know it's coming. So they could be just saying, look, we'd rather have it today under these conditions that we control. Get the house today. No, everything's done. Then we can sell it. And what's the difference between doing that and short selling it, waiting for the seller to then go out and find a buyer?
Yeah, I think what happened was, and there's a comment right here. The government, Fannie and Freddie, are going, all these people out there that are making their payments on time, that don't want to stop making payments to do the short sale and all the different requirements that they had.
Right.
Now they've come out with this program, and like this gentleman here says, Fannie and Freddie are playing catch up, making these changes when defaults are falling and the housing market is coming back to some extent, said Kurt Egger, a professor at Chapman University School of Law in California, says it should have happened a long time ago. So I think they're trying to bring in a program for the folks that haven't missed payments, that don't want to miss payments, but it specifically says, too, it's going to record just as a foreclosure or as a short sale.
Yeah, I still don't get it. I don't know how it's... Because there's a marketing time. It takes X numbers of days to get an offer and get an escrow closed. And it's not going to be any quicker whether I'm Fannie Mae and I hold the house or John still holds the house and he's selling it. Unless you say, it's better for me as Fannie Mae, I'm going to get more money if John and all his crap were out of that house where I had it all clean and ready to go so someone can move right in. I'll get a higher price than a seller who doesn't really want to sell it, so he's not letting people in, and his place looks like it doesn't look good. And so then it's harder. It's a harder sale. Maybe then I get it. But if you're Fannie Mae, you've now taken on one more responsibility of things to do. I don't know if I get that or not. So I do. This is a word of caution because I haven't heard this along the same lines here. If you are, there are quite a few lenders that will do some debt forgiveness or some restructuring of your debt, of your mortgage, basically. I don't know if you caught this or not, but former Michigan Supreme Court Justice. This is somebody who probably should know. Key word there is Michigan. You got to watch out for the Michigan people. But former Michigan Supreme Court Justice falsified some of her records in terms of her assets and other things. Allegedly, I guess not allegedly because she just got nailed for it. She dodged a $90,000 reduction from ING. So she got ING to take a $90,000 chunk off her mortgage because she made an application that she needed a debt forgiveness. And turns out that, according to this article, wasn't exactly true. And now she's looking at potentially a little jail time and a fairly significant fine for lying on her application for a loan mod, basically was what it was. So lest you think that they are not coming back to look at different things, if you're asking for a loan modification and you're filling out, you basically fill out an application to unqualify, if you will. You send it to qualify for lesser money. And that application has to be truthful also.
She left something out, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, she had a house in Florida. She didn't quite come clean on some of her issues there. So a sentence longer than 18 months or a fine of $30,000. So maybe not exactly worth the $90,000 price cut there. I don't know. She should know better. She was a justice of the peace, or not justice of the peace, but Supreme Court justice there. We do got a quiz question. Let's jump on one of those. And let's text to make sure our phone lines are open. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140. And I know we've been rambling on here about a bunch of things, too, but if you have something on your mind, feel free to jump on in. We have no particular direction today, which is fairly normal. Yeah. I am going to get into, after the break, though, a little bit about so I had 3 or 4 people ask me, seriously, what does it take to not become a California resident anymore, and what does that mean? And I'll give you an idea. I think one of the quiz questions, we didn't have a quiz question. I'll give you an idea how much Tiger Woods has saved so far in his career. He moved to Florida in 1996. Think about that in your own mind. How much money do you think Tiger Woods has saved in state taxes alone in the last 16 years? Give you an indication why Phil Mickelson and many others are looking at moving out of state. I'll give you some ideas on the state of California. Very aggressive about making sure that if you're out of here, you're out of here. So we'll talk about that.
Cut all ties, huh?
Talk about that when we come back. John's got a quiz question for you. 339-1140 or 44-1140 is our text number. Go ahead.
So before we get into the Super Bowl trivia, we're going to talk about social media. So the question today is, which social media ranks the highest with small business owners in terms of usefulness?
Okay.
Which one? You have,
there's a bunch of them.
Pinterest, Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Yelp.
Who else is on there? Then they got the section for others. There's probably other little ones we haven't even thought about.
Right.
But,
so which one, with small business owners, said in a survey, gives the best potential for use?
So the one they like the most as far as generating some sort of interest in their business or whatever.
And it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140 if you'd like. We've got some ski passes, Sierra at Tahoe. We might have a Gym Boys certificate in there or not. We're running low on those. We got quite a few of this here at Tahoe, and it's going to start snowing again at the end of the week, so we'll get you up there. Which social media tool is best for small business according to a recent survey from them? Well, this is Talkin' Money. John Fodorero, Nick Perjanik, Jeff Tarbell. We're going to be
right back, Jack.
Talkin' money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing?
Everybody awake now?
Having a fairly spirited conversation here during the break.
I feel a little spirited.
Some of it maybe not politically correct, but that's usually how it goes. We did not get a winner yet to our quiz question. So 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. This is for a ski pass to Sierra at Tahoe. And the question was, which social media, I'll just say tool, but basically site or whatever you want to call it. Which social media site is what? Is best for business? Or
Yes. For small business owners. Which ranks the highest in terms of use and usefulness?
Okay, so give us some of the options again. Give us the top 5 or 6 there, and we'll see where
Twitter.
Okay, Twitter.
YouTube. Google+.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, and Yelp.
Okay.
Some of the thoughts.
So out of those, we did have some people that were choosing Yelp, and that was not the winner. And I will tell you that a few business people that I know, particularly that are in kind of like the restaurant type of trade business, do not like Yelp. I mean, they've really come out and said it's probably been more damaging because you can get one individual who has a bad experience on Yelp, and you can
catapult everything.
Yeah, raise hell, and maybe didn't even address their issues. You look like
I can vouch for that. Okay. I work at a pizza place. And, we use Yelp, but one of the problems is we work in the mornings. We're just morning, afternoon. We don't do dinner or anything like that. Someone puts on Yelp, "Hey, I think these guys are closed. I went by there at 5:00 at night, and it's not open." You talk to Yelp saying like, "Hey, this isn't right. Can we take it down?" It's like, well, they're not disparaging you or anything like that, so we can't take it down.
Yeah. So and
then you get people calling in. It's like, oh, I didn't know that you guys are still open. I saw on Yelp that you were closed.
Yeah, and you can counter. I mean, you can make a counter comment to it, but it is. So it does empower the consumer a little bit, but it also empowers them to be wrong. And before, if someone had a complaint, they would call you directly, and you could help resolve it, and maybe it wouldn't be such a deal. Now they can just jump on Yelp and say you're a lunatic, and it kind of sticks there if whether they're right or wrong. In my case, they'd be right. But so anyway, Yelp was not the answer. So
I've also had a friend that's been fired because of a Yelp review.
Because he gave one?
Yeah. No, not because he gave one, because he got one.
Oh, because he got it.
And it never said his name, but it says, like, there was a waiter that kind of looked like this.
Big guy, yellow shirt, Boston hat.
There was a guy that kind of looked like this who was a jerk, and it's like, oh, and then the owner's like, oh, this has got to be you. You're fired.
Wow. Oh, nice.
He was looking for a reason.
Yeah, maybe the guy yelped himself. I don't want to work here anymore. Sounds like
it's a family show.
Sounds like Chris Verlaud and Favre, and that was it. So we'll let that hang out there a little bit more. So it's and it is maybe not who you think on the list. So
and not who I thought.
Yeah, not who I thought. I mentioned before the break that, and we talked about this a little bit last week, and of course it's been in the news quite a bit locally. Phil Mickelson came out 2 weeks ago and said, I don't think I can afford to be part of the San Diego, was it Chargers or Padres? I think it was the Chargers. football team. I don't think I can afford to be an investor in it because of some changes that have gone on here in the state of California. And he kind of got blasted for that, for speaking his mind.
Kinda?
Yeah, well, really got blasted for that. And yet, so what would have been better if he just all of a sudden we wake up one morning and Phil's a resident of Wyoming or Florida or something else, and he just says, oh, yeah, we have a sudden love for Jackson Hole. We decided to move over here. That's what Tiger Woods did. 1996, Tiger Woods moved out of California. I had mentioned before the break, in your own mind, how much do you think Tiger Woods has saved in his 16-year career so far by not being a California resident? So any of you out there, how much do you think? So I'll give you an idea. He makes...
I'm guessing it's in the millions.
So Mr. Woods grossed $56.4 million in 2012. As a Floridian, he will keep about $7.5 million in tax he'd otherwise have owed to the state of California. So over the last 16 years, Tiger Woods has roughly estimated to have saved $100 million. And that's in savings that he has not paid out in state tax. Now, I'm a fairly picky shopper. I probably could find a reasonable home in Florida and a decent car for $100 million in tax savings. I probably would move damn near anywhere for $100 million. I probably moved damn near anywhere for $1 million.
Over 16 years?
Yeah,
sure.
Over 16-year career. And he's not done playing. I think he won the other day, so he's still doing fairly well. So Phil Mickelson's estimated state tax for this year, 2012, that is due now, is $8 million. So we can pick on the guy. You can pick on the guy if you want. And you can say, well, he's already got enough money. He should have enough money. He should pay his fair share. I challenge any of you, if you could even spell $8 million, to get out your pen and write a check for $8 million of your hard-earned money. And I don't care if you've made $8.1 million or $80 million.
And that's just the state portion, right?
That's just the state. And that represents, by the way, this is the part that got me going on this again. That is an 83.6% tax increase for Phil Mickelson. Why? Because one other thing happened in 2012 and going forward is if your income is over $1 million, which I know all of ours is, we're just playing around here in the low end for nothing. But if your income is over $1 million, you no longer get to write off your state tax against your federal. So in effect, you're being double taxed over $1 million. Now, if you don't think that is rude on any scale or any level, then you're in the right state.
Ouch.
You're in the right state. So not only is he going to have to write a check for $8 million, he doesn't even get to take that as a write-off against his federal income tax.
So he pays taxes on money that he paid taxes on.
That is an 83.6% tax increase for people over $1 million.
Yeah, see, these are rules I'm not aware of.
Right. Right.
But I get it. I'd be pissed too.
That is, it's beyond just being upset. It's that we were having the discussion during the break, and John said he used to work at a CPA firm, and his higher net worth clients. And now we're not talking about people that are paying $8 million a year. We're talking about people that are making, like you said, $3 to so million, in that range. Doctors and people that do very well, people who've put their whole life on the line. And you said by the third quarter of the year, they were looking at you doing what?
All the time. They're like, why should I work? I got to pay 55% in taxes. Maybe I should just take the rest of the year off.
Yeah.
And I heard it every year, year after year.
Yep. And I think that you can say, well, then so what? Somebody else will make the money, and maybe they will, and maybe they won't. But I have yet to be hired. Who are the people that are taking the money and passing it down the line? And there's not a lot of guys that are making $30,000 a year that are hiring other people, and so we need people that are making money to keep their money to keep it moving. And I think the first quarter of this year is going to be a shock. First quarter of 2013 is when we look at the numbers from that, we're going to look back and go, whoa, we have really, really shot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, think about the people that are making $36,000 a year, and just with the Social Security coming back at adding 2%. Think about what that effect has been. I hear it every day. I got my paycheck again. It's low. I'm off $100. I'm off $50, whatever it may be. And if you're making that kind of money, it hurts. So, in a respective of, people say, well, he's $8 million, no big deal. I mean, there's a respect back and forth. No matter how much you make, any extra hit is very costly.
So here was the question that I got during the week this week, and you can jump in and tell me what your thoughts are. Maybe tell me where you'd want to move, or would you move? Is there a number? And we'll just throw that out there for a little bit on our text at 441140, or you can give us a call 339-1140. What is the number for you where you say it's not worth it for me anymore to be here in California,
or your wife,
or your wife? What is the number? There's a number for you. It's not $8 million, sure, but it might be, I don't know. Is it $800 a month? Is it $8,000 a month? What is the number for you? 339-1140, or you can text us at 441140. We'll pick a random winner, give them a Sierra Tahoe ski pass. What is the number for you that says, okay, you know what, I it's not worth it for me anymore to be here? And it doesn't mean you have to. You can't be here sometimes. I mean, for you to not be a resident anymore. And what is that number for you? I mean, everybody's probably got one in their head. I did get a few questions during the week. You know, what do I have to do if I want to leave, and where could I go? So I did a little quick little question or a little survey here. These are there's only 7 states that lack an income tax in the United States, and 3 of them are very close to us theoretically. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. So those are your tax-free states.
So if you live in Sacramento, you move up to Reno, you don't pay state income tax. Done. Nice and easy. Long commute, but you could do it, correct?
You theoretically, if Nevada is your new residence, and I'm going to give you some of the keys here, what a resident means, because you can't just go up there and have an apartment and come back down here and do everything 24/7. And there's another key there that some of my clients and some people had asked me about too, which is if you've got, like myself, so let's say I wanted to go to Incline Village, Nevada. Nice area, beautiful, on the lake. And you think, okay, it's multi-million-dollar houses. It's not. You can find some condos and stuff up there for a couple $100,000. So, hey, if I'm saving $400 or $500 a month in taxes, I mean, I almost pay for a $200,000 place up there as well. So, but if you are married and you have kids and they're not going with you, there's a little catch there, and we're going to talk about that too. We got a couple people on hold, so let's get a little input here from where they're starting to line up now here. Let's go to Rob. Rob, welcome to Talkin' Money. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
In the spirit of the argument with Tiger and Phil, but my understanding is that you earn the income and you have to pay state taxes in the state that you earn the income in.
Well, there is some states have what's called a jock tax, and I don't know what it applies to in terms of golf, but like the NBA, if you're coming through Sacramento and you're playing here, then they will tax you in California on your taxes for that game.
Right.
But if your primary residence is back in Texas, then the majority of your income and all of your sponsorship money, all that kind of stuff too, which is a lot of how these guys make their money. They make it on the course, but they make a lot of it from Nike and other places too. So while you may be right, I mean, I don't know if you win the tournament in, back in Georgia, do you pay a little bit of tax on that earnings there? You probably do, and maybe you don't pay it in California, but the bulk of your income is still in your home state. And in fact,
I think for basketball, football, baseball, that's more of a concern because you play half of your home games. But if you're a golfer, you're going to play the same tournaments anywhere, essentially, right? So yeah. You're right on the sponsorship piece. I mean, and the spirit of the argument is the same, but if Bill moved, then he would save that money on the sponsorship money, and the same thing with Tiger.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already know how much Tiger's already. That's a fact. Tiger has saved $100 million by being a Florida resident. I mean, that number is known. So it's a big number. So Rob, how much would it take? Are you a California resident?
Yeah. I am.
Okay. So at what level would you say enough's enough? I'm going to move somewhere else. How much tax per year is too much for you?
I'm not sure. It's tough to say. It's like, it'd be a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But it's like quitting smoking, right? Like, oh, yeah, it's $5 a pack. Now I'm going to quit. That's way too much. Who knows? You get that close, and then it's...
Well, I hear that all the time from people. It'll be a good problem to have. And there's a big difference between me saying, okay, look, I'll give you $1 million lottery winning, and you got to pay $250 of it to the state. You're like, okay, well, I'm plus $750. But I can assure you, Rob, that if you're out busting your ass 24/7 and you're putting money at risk and you're starting a business and you had to go months without eating or without paying yourself and you had to go through all the hoops and hurdles of making that money, believe me, you want to hold on to every damn penny you can get your hands on, because you don't know if there's another check tomorrow or not.
Nope.
And the go ahead. Okay, we're gonna put Rob back on hold, and we're gonna give Rob a ski passes here at Tahoe. I appreciate that very much, Rob. Let's get to Frank real quick. We'll take one more break. Hey, Frank, welcome to Talkin' Money. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing today? I love your show.
Thank you very much. What's the number for you?
Oh, it's like 20%. I think I'm be ready to leave the state. I'm planning on leaving anyway.
You're planning on, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go to Nevada, where I'm going to have to pay the tax.
Okay, so Frank's going to Nevada for now. Frank, are you self-employed, or are you retired, or do you work for somebody else?
Well, I'm working right now.
Oh, you're working right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you?
When I retire, I'm not going to pay the tax.
So Frank's going to take his vast wealth retirement holdings and go to Nevada and retire. So you better get to Nevada before you retire. I think there's some keys in there, Frank. So I appreciate that very much. Do you want a ski passes here at Tahoe or Jim Boys?
Oh, I'd love the ski passes.
Okay, we'll put you back on hold. Very good. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Frank's going to take his. So there goes Frank's retirement. He's gone with our ski pass on top of that.
So you got to tell us, Jeff, why you're not moving to Reno. Because you got to take your kids with you, or
we got to take another break first, and then I'll tell you what we'll take. Yeah, so we'll do that. We got another quiz question there, Johnny?
We do. It's the spirit of the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow. Costs are up. Advertising costs are up. So the question is, average cost of a 30-second advertising during tomorrow's game is how much? How much in millions? Less 30 seconds.
Less than Phil Mickelson's tax bill, I can tell you that. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140. This is Talkin' Money. We're going to be right back, Jack.
This is CBS Sports 1140.
Talkin' Money! And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
We need to do like a 2-hour show one time.
This is how we're going to do a 2-hour show, just like this. We have so much material today.
You'll have to be twice as funny.
Yeah. I didn't get into that. I'll do that next. I'll do that when I come back. 339-1140 if you want to jump in. You can text us at 44-1140. We did get a winner. The Super Bowl ad, 30-second ad, is going to run
$3.5 million. For 30 seconds. Do we ever get a winner on...
I don't think we did.
On our social media?
I don't think we did.
Everybody was still sleeping.
Yeah, so the best social media tool for small business, according to their survey, was what?
LinkedIn. Yes, 41. It's very high. I mean, almost double what Facebook is bringing to them.
Interesting. So
based on a Wall Street Journal survey.
So using LinkedIn to communicate with other business people on a business level.
Sure.
So interesting. So here... We got 7 minutes. There's no way I'm going to be able to do all this. So here's the. So I gave you the 7 states that lack an income tax: Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. 2 of them are community property states, like California. Community property means that basically, if you're married, you equally have interest in whatever property you have: money, income, assets, whatever. So Nevada and Washington, the 2 closest to us, are community property states. So the question I got last week was, so I'll use myself. If I want to move to Nevada, and I'm the income earner in our family, my wife and children want to stay here. Nevada is a community property state also. So Nevada and California both say, okay, fine, Jeff. If you make $1, 50 cents your wife declares, 50 cents you declare. So fine, if you're a true Nevada resident, you won't pay state tax on your 50 cents, but your wife's still going to pay tax on the other 50 cents we're making her direct. Now, if I move to Wyoming, that is not a community property state, and I can prove I'm a resident there, then I have a little better case of saying, okay, I'm taking all the income here, and I'm going to pay no tax here. My wife has no income. The state of California is very good about coming back and saying, well, really, you've got a house here, 3 kids that are going to high school, and your wife's living here, and you're taking all the income there, and you're not divorced. So tell us how that works. So here's some of the criteria they're looking at if you want to become a true non-California resident. Amount of time you spend in California versus amount of time you spend out. Location of your spouse, dependent, and children. Location of your principal residence. And here's the little ones that get you on. State where your driver's license is issued. State where your vehicles are registered. State where you maintain your professional licenses, where you're registered to vote, where you maintain your bank accounts, where you do your financial transactions, where your doctor is, where your social ties are, such as where you worship, professional or other social country clubs, location of real property investments, and permanence of your work assignments in California. So,
gotcha.
If you're going to go to Wyoming, you better have a doctor in Wyoming, you better bank in Wyoming, you better probably have a residence in Wyoming. And it's not like you can't have a second home in California, but it has to make sense, right? So I think that it's very tough when you've got kids that are here and going to school, but certainly as our population starts to age, and even my wife and I are looking with girls that are in high school for 3.5 more years, and once they go to college, do we need to stay here? Does my business do I have to physically be in California? Can you tell me right now if I'm actually physically in California right this second on the radio? No. Because a lot of times I am not when I'm doing this show. So do you know if you call me on the telephone and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about a loan, or you fill out an application online, and so much of what our business has become has been paperless, is do you know, am I sitting in Roseville really? Do you care if I'm sitting in Roseville really? Well, you do if you're a first-time buyer. You'd like to sit down and talk about it, particularly like on a reverse mortgage where they really want to meet in person. That's important. 95% of the time it isn't. Most of my clients are, hey, you know what, Jeff, I'm busy. Are you okay with me emailing you some stuff and doing this online and doing this? That's easier for me as the client. Absolutely. It's easier for me too. It's much more efficient. So some of our technologies and our abilities to move around and kind of be obscure about where we really are, not to hide it doesn't matter, but do I have to physically be here?
Right. But your listings there, I mean, there's so many little catches there. Where's your licenses held?
Yeah.
Where's your income coming?
So here's just a little informal quiz for you because we're running out of time. So what do you between the two of you? My CPA did tell me one thing though to pass along to my clients and those of you, be very, very careful. There's no free lunch. So for example, Texas, if you go to Texas and you buy some real estate, their property taxes are extremely high. You were saying your dad lives in Pennsylvania on a house he's been in 40 years. He pays taxes as if the house were a $500,000 house, and right. He bought it for $18,000 or 50,
exactly.
40 years ago. So they're going to get you. Which state do you think has just the overall flat out lowest tax obligation? I mean, that's income, anything, real estate, sales tax, blah blah blah. Who?
Alaska.
What do you think?
Nevada.
Alaska is 6.4. Nevada is 6.6. And Wyoming is 7%, Florida 7.4. So that's just the overall cost of just being in the state. I love Alaska. It's a nice place to visit. I couldn't live there.
No, that'd be rough.
The 6 point, I think I'll pay the extra point too, and go to Nevada. And actually, I'm a big fan of Wyoming. I just, if you've ever been to Wyoming or that Jackson Hole area, that's just a beautiful area, and I could see myself being there.
Then you could get your snowmobile
part-time. Yeah, then you get a snowmobile and a body cast falling off the hill. That means we got 1 minute left. So, hey, next Saturday, John will be here. I've got to be on a business meeting that weekend. Colin Groyle will be sitting in the big chair, and then when we come back, we're back to 2 hours from 9 to 11, which will give us much more time to cover these things. And I've got a lot of stuff we haven't begun to cover, and I will save some of this information for when we come back the following week. So you can catch this show repeats if you want our podcast at the Talkin Money Facebook page, not the LinkedIn page.
Happy Hardball game tomorrow.
Yeah, who you picking?
Niners.
Chris, who you picking?
Ravens 28-27. Akers misses a point after they lose.
Nick?
The Bears. Oh, no. I'm a Niner fan.
I'm a Niner fan too, but I think the Ravens are going to be tough to beat.
I'm hoping it's a good game. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Me too. Hey, we'll see you next Saturday, everybody. Be cool. Thanks for tuning in. Aloha.
Talkin' Money.